Okay, so on this slide, I'm going to be talking to you about reading scales on axes. But first, I wanted to say if you need this information in Spanish, click on the little icon, the video camera icon, and the link will come up to a video showing you how to get to your textbook and how to get to the Spanish version. Okay, so this says, reading scales on axes. The scale of an axis is the number of units that each grid line represents. So far, the graphs in this lesson, we have a scale of 1 unit, but graphs frequently use other units. So let's look at example 3. The graph shows the location of a city. It also shows the location of Gary's and Jen's houses. The scale on each axis represents miles. So I'm going to look at my graph. So I see my origin, which is in the middle. But I also see the numbers 10, 20, -10, and -20. So that tells me my scale is counting by tens. So if I wanted to plot if I wanted to number this line right here, I would name this -30 because I'm going by tens, and I would name this 30. Okay, now I want to represent the grid lines that are not numbered. So I'm talking about these grid lines here, the one in my pink pencil. Now these are the halfway marks in between each number given. So in between 0 and 10, I would have 5. In between 10 and 20, I would have 15. And in between 20 and 30, I would have 25. Now, how did I get to the 5? Well, what's half of 10? 5. And that would make sense because each grid line represents miles. It wouldn't make sense for this grid line to represent 1 or 2. It's reasonable that it's 5. Okay, now I would do the opposites of the whole numbers. So this would be -5. I would just reflect it across the y-axis. This would be -15. The values, and then -25. Okay, so it's just like a number line. It's the integers, your whole numbers, and their opposites. Okay, so each grid line square is 5 miles on a side. Gary's house is at -2515, which is 25 miles west and 15 miles north of the city, because the city is at the origin 0, 0. The city's origin is at 0, 0, which is right there in yellow. Okay. B says, describe the location of Jen's house relative to Gary's house. So we're going from Gary's house to Jen's house. It says Jen's house is located 6 grid squares to the right of Gary's house. Since each square grid is 5 miles on a side, her house is 6 times 5, which equals 30 miles east of Gary's. So she said she's going 6 miles or 6 square grids to the right of Gary. So she went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 places to the right of Gary, and that's where Jen lives. Now answer these questions up here. It says Ted lives 20 miles south and 20 miles west of the city represented in the graph in example 3. So from the origin, that's where Ted lives. His brother Ned lives 50 miles north of Ted's house. So I'm going to show you how to find Ted's coordinates, and then you're going to find Ned's coordinates. So Ted lives 20 miles south and 20 miles west of the city. So first of all, I'm going to look down here at my key, or my direction key, north, east, south, and west. Okay, so south is down, and west is to the left. So I'm using my negative numbers from the city. So I'm going to go 20 miles down, and then I'm going to go 20 miles left. That's my plot right there. Or that's my coordinates. So now I'm going to plot the coordinates of Ted's house. Ted lives at -20, negative 20. Because I went south and west. So I went down and I went left. And this is in quadrant 3. Okay, now it's your turn. His brother Ned lives 50 miles. Remember, each grid line represents 5 miles. So you're going to count each grid line until you get to 50, or however many miles that is, however far you have to go up, and you're going to write the new coordinate or the new ordered pair. You're going to type it into the answer box there. If you have any questions on this Google Slides activity, please send me a message on Schoology. Please do not submit blank work, and I hope you have a good day.